All right, guys, here we go. So this is our first video lesson that I will be posting. The first week we are just reviewing things we've already done. So these notes should look familiar. We've kind of already done them. If you still have your journal, you can just follow along and make sure that everything in your notebook is correct. And you can also just make sure you understand everything. If you don't have your journal, then I will post a clean copy of these notes for you to print if you want to, or you can I'll fill in the copy and save it so that you can just save it to your desktop. And so you'll have it when you're filling out the assignment, because yes, you may use this on the assignment. Okay, so let's get started. I've made like 6 of these so far and I made mistakes. So let's hope this one works. All right, let's start by making me small. All right, quadratic parent function. So remember, we've already studied this. It's not totally new information. Okay, the quadratic parent function is y equals x squared. Okay, so the reason we get that lovely symmetry of the graph of the parabola, remember this is called a parabola, is because when we square numbers, they always turn positive. Okay, so in this case, in the parent function, it sits at the origin, it sits at 0, 0, and it has these common coordinates because it's just squaring all of the x values. All right, so if we were to fill in the little common table, this point right here would be at -2, 4. Then we'd have another point at -1, 1. We'd have a point at 0, 0. We'd have a point at 1, 1, and a point at 2, 4. So notice the symmetry in the numbers. Because we're squaring things and all negative numbers squared turn positive, our graph or our table should always have positive y's in this case, because of the way it's basically just x squared. And we have a vertex or a bottoming point, or a switching point I should say, where the pattern starts to repeat itself. Okay, so the parabola is what we're studying. So we learned some vocabulary terms before break. Okay, so remember we learned that there's this word called axis of symmetry, and that's the imaginary line that goes through the middle of the graph. And it's a vertical line, so we know it has an equation of x equals, and in this case it'd be at 1. Okay, axis of symmetry splits the graph in half and makes it symmetric so that it'll fold onto itself. Okay, then we talked about the x-intercepts, and we learned 4 different words for x-intercepts. We said it could be a 0, that's a common word. They could say solutions, or they could say roots. Okay, so all 4 words mean the same thing where it crosses the x-axis. All right, so in this picture, in this graph, we have an x-intercept at -1, 0, and we have an x-intercept at 3, 0. Okay. Now, most parabolas have a y-intercept, even though it's not as important as a line. The y-intercept in this case is at 0, -3. It's where it crosses the y-axis. All right, and then the most important part of a parabola is the vertex. So in this case, this graph is, you can't see that I'm circling it, this graph is a minimum graph because it has a low point instead of a high point. The vertex in this case is at 1, -4, because that's that coordinate right there. And in this case, it's a minimum because, like I said, it's at the bottom of the parabola. Versus in the next graph, it's a maximum because it's the top of the parabola. So those are the vocabulary terms you need to know. Okay, so let's look at example 1. So again, this graph is a maximum because the vertex is now at the top of the graph instead of at the bottom. Okay, remember that all of these graphs technically have arrows because my computer program just doesn't allow arrows. So in this case, our vertex is at -1, 4. Okay, so -1, 4. Our axis of symmetry is that imaginary line that goes through the vertex and splits the parabola in half. It's always the x value of the vertex, and it's always x equals some number. So in this case, it's -1. Our y-intercept of this graph looks to be at 3, 0. Okay, so it'd be right there. We know it has a maximum, and when we talk about the maximum, we're talking about the y value of the vertex. So basically, where does the graph top out? Like, where do the y's stop? What's the maximum value they hit? And in this case, it would be at 4. Okay, now when we talked about domain range, if you remember, the parabola goes on forever, and it even though it's skinny like this, as it goes, it's going to expand, and every x is going to be covered. There's no exclusions to the domain. So we say the domain is all real numbers, which is also that symbol that y'all love to use, call a TR, even though it's really an IR. Okay, all real numbers. And that's standard for parabolas that don't have a stopping point. And we'll get to, hopefully, we'll get to parabolas that are real world where they do have a stopping point. Okay, if it's a maximum, you might write yourself a note. Maximum, because it's the top, all of our y's are going to be less than or equal to some number because the graph is below the maximum y value. So in this case, our maximum is at 4, so y is less than or equal to 4. Okay, our x-intercepts of this graph seem to be at -3, 0, and at 1, 0. Okay, so again, we're just identifying the parts of the graph. We did this before break. Hopefully it's review. Hopefully you're like, oh, I got this, Ms. Wilkerson. I'm good to go. And you can skip on to your assignment. If you need a little bit more, we're going to do the next example. All right, so the next parabola is a minimum because, again, the lowest point is the vertex instead of the vertex being the highest point. That coordinate looks to be at 3, -4. All right, again, our axis of symmetry is that line that splits it in half, and so it's the x value, so x equals the x value of the vertex, which in this case is 3. This graph has a y-intercept at 5, 0. Okay, it has a minimum because the vertex is at the bottom of the picture, and we would say that it's at -4. Okay, again, domain would be all real numbers, so all real numbers. Now the range, because it's a minimum, meaning all the y's are greater than that lowest point, we're going to use the greater than sign. Okay, so y has to be greater than or equal to our lowest point, which is -4. Okay, so for parabolas, the vertex basically establishes a bunch of stuff. It establishes, has the graph been changed in any way? How did it change? It establishes the range of the graph, and it's the turning point of the graph. So it's where the graph switches from either increasing to decreasing or decreasing to increasing. Okay, x-intercepts solutions and zeros where it crosses the axis. So in this case, it would be at 1, 0 and at, what is that, 5, 0. Okay, so that's the vocabulary you need to know. You might pause this video and take a little mental break. I'm going to go on though because I'm going to show you that yes, we're still using Desmos, and yes, you'll need to use Desmos for your assignment. You don't have to use it, but it's helpful. And you don't have to use the app. You can just go to the regular website because we're not taking STAAR tests anymore. So let me erase that. All right, so let's just start looking at a graph. So we got our parent function, y equals x squared. Nope, that didn't work. Where's my equal sign? Oh, I just didn't click it. Okay, y equals x squared. So that's our parent function. That's the graph we compare all other graphs to. So anytime you're asked to compare a graph going forward in any of the units we study, we always type that into the first line. Now, on your assignment, it's going to ask you to compare or to decide which equation represents the graph or something like that. So if you're given another equation, you're just going to type it into the second line. So let's say y equals x minus 3 squared plus 2. Okay. Now, in this case, I'm comparing the new graph, which is black, to the original graph, which is green. And so if you've noticed, the black graph now has a new vertex at 3, 2, which means it went to the right 3 and it went up 2. So remember, we talked about that right before break, that those are the transformations. And because it went to the right, because in our equation over here, it's a -3. Remember, we did that little investigation that said it's opposite. So anytime something's in parentheses, it actually moves in an opposite way. Okay, so in your assignment, it's going to ask you Either, I forget if it asks you to come up, it doesn't ask you to come up with the equation. It asks you to like match the graph with the equation or whatever. You're just going to type that in over here on the second line, always comparing it to the parent function. Okay, so I hope that video was helpful. If it wasn't, go back and rewatch it. If you're still confused, I will be sending information out about online tutorials and how that's going to work. I have a meeting here in a little bit, and they're going to give me more information on that. So, hope you're having a great time in your quarantine. I know I am. All right, see you later.